Hello and thanks for watching. In this video, we're going to see how to make a graph out of the number of COVID-19 cases in Alaska for the month of March. This is the kind of graph that researchers and epidemiologists need in order to give the right kind of warnings to the public. So, we take this graph over here from the Department of Health and Social Services. Each day, they update this to tell us how many new confirmed cases there are and what region of Alaska they arrive in. So we need 4 columns. The first is the symptoms first appeared. What was the onset of the symptoms? If your text doesn't automatically expand like this, then you need to come up to the button bar and find where you have the text wrapping options with these little arrows. The middle one will be the text wrap. Next, we'll put the number of new cases that comes from the graph. And then over here, we're going to put a day number because we're going to make a graph that's slightly different than this. And then we'll put the total number of cases and learn a new skill for that. So we'll start with the day before the first symptoms. Up here we can type in MAR 3-2020. And Excel turns that into a nice neat date for us. We'll do MAR 4-2020. And then to save us time, we'll highlight both of those. I'm zooming into this little blue dot right here. See how my cursor changes? I grab that little blue dot and I drag it down and keep dragging it down till it's gone to about the end of March. There's March 30th. That should be enough. Next, we'll go to the day numbers. We'll call this day number 0. And this will be day number 1. And again, we use the shortcut. We grab that little blue corner and we drag it down. It looks for a pattern and fills in the pattern for us. All right, we're going to stop collecting data on the 27th. The data for the 28th is incomplete, and the 29th and 30th is not reported yet. So we'll take those off, and we'll stop at the 27th. Now, the number of new cases is a little bit tricky. The first 2 is 0, because there's no cases the day before the 4th. I just tried pointing at my screen like you could see what I was pointing at, but that was silly. On the 4th, there was 1 new case. On the 5th, 1 new case. On the 6th, 0 cases. And on the 7th, 2 cases, 1 cases, 0 case. Yes, I heard myself say 1 cases. On the 10th, it gets a little bit tricky to read. So what I did is I made this graph right here move over. And I can slide this over right there, and I'll let it slide over so you can take the rest of the data. All right, I hope you're typing in the data as this moves across the screen. Pausing where you need to. That's a 6, that's an 8. Keep going. Whoa, that was a big day, 17. All right, so we know the last number down here is going to be a 17, and we're going to stop on the 27th. Your job then is to grab the data and figure out the total number of cases. Now, all right, so on our graph, column C will be what goes on the x-axis instead of the dates. Makes it a little bit cleaner, a little bit simpler to understand it. But we want a graph that shows the cumulative total number of cases. Now, we could say on day 0, there were 0 cases. On day 1, there was 1 case. On day 2, there were 2 total cases. And then 2 total cases again, with no new cases. And day 4, 4 total cases. I'm just adding up how many new cases arrived that day. And then 5. But after a while, it gets a little bit tedious. There's got to be a shortcut. However, if we use our blue corner over here, it messes up the formula and things get out of control, right? So what we need to do is be a little more clever about this. There's a trick that I can show you right now that will make the spreadsheet do all the work for you. Are you ready? Okay, we're going to enter a formula here in this cell. All new formulas start with what? That's right, they start with an equal sign. we need to do a formula where it does the sum, the total of a bunch of numbers. The first number is going to be whatever is in cell B2, and then a colon, because I'm adding up all the numbers through B3. And when I'm done with that parenthesis right there, I press enter or return. And so now I see in this cell, it gives me everything from B2 all the way to B3. If I try to repeat that formula, it doesn't work. It's not adding up the totals. The number is not growing. It's going up and down. So I get rid of that. And here's the trick. Are you ready? I'm going to use a special code in front of this B right here, $, and in front of the 2, $. What this tells the spreadsheet is hold that cell constant. When I ask you to repeat this formula, don't change that part. So I press enter. My number stays the same here. And when I drag this down, I should see the total keep growing and growing. In this formula, it's $B, $2 through B4, and then it holds B2 through B5, and so on and so forth. So let's just finish putting that formula all the way down to day 15, where I stopped collecting data. All right, you will collect data all the way through day 24 or March 27th. All right, you've done a great job gathering the data. Now it's time to make the graph. And what do you know? There's only 17 more minutes left in the video. You'll be done in no time. Come up to the top of column C. You'll click here and hold that click and swipe down, not letting go of the click until you get to the end of your data. I'm stopping here at day 15. I'm going to find the Insert Chart button over here, or I can go to the Insert menu and find the Chart button right over here. Once I do that, it tries to guess what graph I need, and this time it gets it wrong. I don't want a column chart. I actually want to scroll down to this one right here called the Scatter chart. I bring in the Scatter chart, and everything looks so good so far, but we need to customize it. Let's be quick about this. We'll go to the series, and we want to find out what type of line fits this. So we check this box here for a trend line. And we have two main choices. First is linear. Does the linear graph help show us what has happened, and does it predict what's going to happen next? Not sure yet. The best way to find out is to check this box that says show the R-squared score. That gives us a score on a scale of 0 to 1, where 1 is perfect. This has a 0.836. Let's switch it from a linear graph to an exponential graph. Here we see a score of 0.999. That means the growth of the COVID-19 virus is an exponential growth. It's not linear. And that's how bacteria and viruses spread. So we'll leave that where it is, and we'll go back up here to get rid of the series information. I'll go back to chart axis and titles. For the title of the whole thing, we want to start here at the chart title. Here's a great shortcut for you. Highlight that, copy it, and bring it over here. A good title has complete information, where it's happening, when it's happening, and we'll just add one more word, confirmed cases. Next, we want the horizontal. That's the days since, and I'll let you finish that thought. And the vertical is the number of, and I'll let you finish that thought. We can dismiss the chart editor because you are essentially done. Your job now is to make sure to press the share button, get the shareable link, and it copies that link. Then you bring that link over to the Google form.